Okay, I think I'm the only one that likes.
Well, nobody's guessed them.
Like,
Maybe they're just that hard.
so that was my song. Hey,
Degree of difficulty.
Gary Hart Fan Club Nation.
Yeah,
Um,
all of you
welcome.
out there.
You guys are doing good with your questions. So keep it up. And if we don't get to your question on this one, we got them. So we'll get to them. But yeah, keep the questions coming up because we are running out of things to talk about. Okay, first question, Daniel Moore,
What's
our
happening,
man.
Daniel Mold?
Hey, you guys. You said send questions. Yes, I did. Got one more for you. At what age did you guys discover wrestling was a work, or did you guys just wise up automatically, or did your dad wise you up on it?
Pretty much all of the above. You generally smarten yourself up to what was going on, but once you did smarten yourself up, you realize that. And I know the kids growing up in the business now can't understand this because the guys in the dressing room nowadays can't for the life of them, fans of this. We realized that if it got out, it would really hurt business. We couldn't make any more money.
So I remember it was like around SummerSlam '91, and I don't.
It took you that long?
Well, I don't think I was totally smart to it.
Dad had been out of the business for 2.5 years with that. Well, not 2.5, about a year and a half.
Yeah, and we were talking about the Bret Hart Kurt Hennig match, and Dad. I remember we were asking him something. We were like, "So, Dad, so it is like a work," or I don't know if that was the word. You don't remember that? I was, anyways.
No.
And Dad was like, you could tell he was still protecting it.
I was still telling you Montreal was a work.
But I do remember it was one of the Mesquite Rodeo Arena matches, and I walked up on it was Dad, Al Perez, and Kevin Von Erich, and I think Kevin and Al were the main event that night. And they were out behind the building, like outside, like 50 feet away from the building or whatever. Now looking back at it, I remember I walked up on them going over the finish, or they were going over something.
He just didn't want you to ask any stupid questions.
No, but I'm just saying, like, I remember I walked up on Dad and Al and Kev, and yeah, I could tell like it was secret.
I mean, like that. I remember all throughout, school and everything, I would never, cop to Dad.
Yeah,
Von Erich's calling Dad Uncle Gary, or being in the dressing room with the Von Erichs, or that Bruce would be coming over to the house, or any of that.
Yeah, we always like.
And even though I knew everything was okay, I just knew that it was one of those things where it's like, this doesn't leave this room, and you understood that because because back then, if people would have known that Kevin and Carrie and David called Dad Uncle Gary, it would have completely killed the business. And also, too, knowing it's a work is one thing, but you also have to understand, yeah, it's a work, but you have to make it look good.
All right.
So sometimes you gotta. You know how to pump the brakes through it.
Right.
Like, I knew it was not fake because as soon as the best way to smarten somebody for someone to really have respect for it is just go up to the ring and touch the canvas and then see how the ropes are. So the ropes aren't ropes; they're basically cables that are with hopefully a pretty decent version of garden hose around them. At least it was back then. They might have these newer things might be a little bit better, but no, that's people when they would say that, it's like, oh, that's a trampoline. No, because if it gives too much, then you're really in trouble. But no, all of the above. You smarten yourself up, and Dad would tell you certain things. Like I remember the furthest thing like that is when they did the Chris Gino thing, when they blinded Chris, and they tried to equate Gino's death, which was real, to Chris's blindness, which was not. It was bothersome because of the morbidity of it. But I remember we got in the car and Dad just said, Jace, that thing with Chris and Gino, everything's okay. Because that was a depressing thing. So that way, yeah. But pretty much you just smarten yourself up and you knew don't say anything because it'll hurt business.
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess Dad just kind of let us figure it out on our own.
That's the best way.
Yeah. So good question, Daniel. Keep them coming. Thank you.
But also too, Dad wouldn't tell us, oh, he's really mad at me. Something like that. Like Jake Roberts, when he was growing up, Grizz did not smarten him up. So when Dad would call to talk to Grizz, Jake would cop an attitude. And then when the assassins who worked with Jake's father and Jake's father's tag team partner, the Kentuckians, when the assassins would show up in the territory, Jake thought that there was a serious problem. But Dad was like, like when Mom first came to the matches and Dad was juiced, Dad went over and said, "It's okay, I'm all right."
Oh wow, that
Yeah,
exposed the business.
yeah. Well, I mean, to certain people,
yeah, yeah. Okay, James 13K 2G. Hey guys, okay, so here's a scenario. Imagine this: Gary Hart comes to the WWF in 1990, brought in by Bobby Heenan as an advisor for the Heenan family. I like it so far. I like it. But the Bobby Heenan family start liking Gary Hart more, and they turn on him and become the Gary Hart stable, and Bobby Heenan turns babyface. So I think that's cool. Bobby Heenan is a babyface. I just don't know if that would ever. I mean, it could have worked. I don't know. But I like it. I like um, thoughts.
well, Bobby as a babyface wouldn't work, and Dad wouldn't want to go for that anyway. Because if it was 4 guys that Dad picked and said, "This is what I want," I mean, you could have offered Dad the 4 horsemen, and he'd have said, "Nah, not really. I want to take this guy over here. It's who hasn't been used the right way. Let me take him." Because I mean, as far as like, I mean, yeah, it would have been a cool type of thing. But as far as something that Dad or Bobby would have been interested in, it'd been, no, what are we doing here? But
I think it would.
but to each his own. Yeah, would have been interesting. Yeah, that's it. That's a good idea and premise. And in theory, as far as like wrestling angles, yeah, that's a good one. But would it have been something that Dad or Bobby would have been interested in? Probably not. But from but for something interesting and innovative, that's actually pretty original.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, as far as the idea itself, yeah, I like that. That's original.
Yeah, the only thing is I can't picture Bobby Heenan being a babyface, but maybe
I can't picture Dad in the WWF.
but maybe by that time 91, Bobby was already on his way out pretty much anyways, right? Or no, this is 90. But hopefully, yeah, like in a perfect scenario, Dad would have had a lot of heat and it would have made Bobby babyface. I kind of see what he's saying now. I think I like
as far as an angle and originality, very good.
Yeah. And I think that would have been a cool way to bring Dad in, like as an advisor to the Heenan family. I think
Not bad. It's very good.
Yeah, I like it. Very good. I just Bobby Heenan's babyface. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, but yeah,
that's actually pretty. That's actually pretty inventive,
yeah.
pretty original.
Okay. Good question, James. Keep them coming. And also, the money would have been really good in 1990, so I would have really enjoyed that. Outlaw. This is a new one. I don't know.
Is that Ron Bass?
Yeah, I don't know. I have been a super big fan of your dad during WCW / NWA and WCW years.
Thank you.
And I think Florida Championship Wrestling. Was wondering why didn't your dad ever go to WWE? Or WWF. So we've answered this before, but yeah, it's a good topic. You want to take it? Because we didn't have James's idea of bringing him in as
current Bobby Babyface, bringing Dad in as a consultant.
I really like that idea.
Yes, that's cool. That's good.
Yeah.
But there was a myriad of reasons. Dad, number one, they drug tested you a lot. And
okay, you want to clarify that so people don't think the old man's a heroin addict?
Marijuana.
Okay.
I mean, he never did pills, but other guys did. It was too much of a controlling environment, and the one thing that Dad liked to do was develop guys. And Vince said, "Okay, that's my job. That's what I'll do." Which that's his right to do. Also, the drug testing, and also too, they got to also remember this with the WWF. Vince would sell you on merchandise that he was a doll is what he would want to sell with you. And a lot of times what they would do is they would promise you one thing going in. Mm-hmm. And once you got your check, it was like, I'm not making much of anything. Now, if you were Hulk Hogan or the Ultimate Warrior or Rick Rude or Randy Savage, yeah, you were getting a lot of money. Now, and if you drew, Vince would pay you. But the vast majority of those guys on that crew were, when they would give you what they used to call draws. It could be 100, it could be 200 when you walk in the building for what you're spending. You get your paycheck. Just make $1,200 because what they offered Dad in '89 to come in with Muta, Dad was like, "Well, I'm making twice, nearly 3 times that much here." I mean, you could have made it up, but and also the control factor. And and Vince always liked to use that saying of Southern wrestling. I think that would have also bothered Dad, and it was just too much of a controlling corporate environment.
Yeah.
And also to let's say, like, I know the Muda thing has been thrown out there. The gift to the wrestling business. If Dad would have taken him into New York in '89, there would have been several problems. One, there's already two other guys running around there named Hart. Vince wouldn't have liked that. Two, Muda, we can't copyright that. Let me change that. Three, I want to use the green miss as a disqualification. Four, Gary's too controlling. Let's axe him and put in Mr. Fuji. So I just don't think it would have ever worked. And I don't. And my father was so defiant, he probably would have. No, it just there's no way it would have worked. It'd be like putting well, I just it just would it'd be like no.
Yeah, I think Dad just he had his own way of doing things, and he needed to be kind of like I think that's why him and Fritz worked so well together. Fritz just kind of let Dad do his stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously Fritz had the final say on everything, but I think Fritz pretty much liked all of Dad's ideas and
Bill Watts did too,
and let Dad do them.
Jim Crockett did too.
And so, not saying Vince McMahon wouldn't have, but I think they're
different. I mean, but they looked at it, and also too, there was a real show business aspect to New York. There was,
Yeah.
and that was just something that Dad was like. It's like taking like
a lot of the guys were there was a lot of heat against New York in the mid '80s, like right, a lot of the guys didn't like that stuff, like the music videos that were going on in New York
and exposing the business. A lot of guys did.
Right? Did they expose the business?
Oh, absolutely.
Did they?
When he said this isn't a sport, never.
Well, that was like '89, right?
He wouldn't have to pay the athletic.
Well, that was later. Money. That was later.
But there was a lot of glitz, and I mean, like take a look at the Slammy Awards, and then all those guys up on the stage doing singing with Vince singing "Grab Them Cakes" or "Stand Back" or whatever. I mean, it was silly.
Right.
And I love a lot of those guys there, but it just was not a fit for Gary Hart.
Right.
Or Ole Anderson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, Terry Funk could be a chameleon, but, he had problems there, too, mainly over Japan.
Good question, Outlaw. Outlaw Ace is his name, 65. Okay, I see. Outlaw Ace.
But a lot of Dad's guys went there. Dad knew all those cats. I mean, most of Vince's dressing room for WrestleMania, he bought from Mid-Atlantic.
Yeah. Yeah.
Even though he doesn't believe he created them.
Okay. Again, GHFC Nation, keep the questions coming. And again, if we do not get to your question today, we are aware of it. We appreciate them as we are running out of things to talk about.
But if we're running out of things to talk about, how do we have backlog of questions?
Well, because we need them. We need plenty of, and we got a good pile of questions. But yeah, I was just saying we'll get to them. I know you guys cannot wait to have your questions answered by us on this YouTube channel that 4 people are watching. Anyways. Twisted Steel Fight Letics. I think this is the second time we've heard from him. Thank you. Keep the questions coming. Smash that like button. I don't know. And subscribe maybe. I don't know. Maybe you have.
Squash it.
Been a fan of your dad for the longest time.
Thank you.
I speak your dad respectfully to modern fans. They say who. I walk away shaking my head. Oh, he says dad's name, and modern day fans go who. He walks away shaking their head. My question is about Roddy Piper.
Yes.
In like 1982, Bill Mercer and Jay Salty started mentioning names like Tommy Rich and Roddy Piper.
Yes.
At the time, both in Georgia, same time when Dad
was booking both, and was booking Dallas and going back and forth to Atlanta.
Right, same time.
Was working in a program with Tommy and was managing Roddy.
It says same times when Mr. Hart was touring with Kabuki. Correct. Was there any, capital any, was there any plans to have Mr. Hart bring Piper back? Roddy wrestled here in like the late 1970s for a few spots. Was there any plans to have Mr. Hart bring Roddy Piper back to wrestle in World Class Championship Wrestling in 1982 against the Von Erichs, or for any spot matches?
Yes. Yes, there was.
So I guess you're saying yes.
Yes, there was. Yes.
Okay, you want to take that one?
And it nearly happened. Roddy had
so that could have been. So that. What about if it would have been Roddy Piper?
That's why when certain people start to talk about busting places wide open, Piper,
who are you talking
Orton,
about?
And Slater could have done the same thing.
Who are you talking
about?
Who
that's for.
Go ahead.
Well, Roddy and Dad were hot off of TBS because Roddy was over like no other. I mean, as far as a heel, I mean, I say Ole's the greatest heel of all time. Roddy's right up there with the Sheik and Rude and Ole. He was over strong off. If you were anyone who was over on TBS at that time, you were over everywhere. And Bill Watts took advantage of those angles too when he would use them.
Did people here watch TBS though?
Oh yeah,
I was trying to get him mad.
So
go ahead.
Then Roddy was supposed to come in here because we mentioned him several times. Because it was pretty obvious when you see Dad and Roddy on TBS, and Dad would go to TBS. He talked to Roddy and say, "I'm in Texas." People ask me where you're at. They must think we're together all the time. And Dad really liked Roddy, but Roddy had gotten fired from Georgia because of something that had fallen out of his bag on the floor of the dressing room. Ole went and saw this substance that had come out of the bag, and Roddy, I think it said it was chalk for his vigorous weightlifting program. Ole found out that it was something different, so Roddy got fired from Georgia, and they tried to blackball him throughout the territories, and they tried to blackball him here too. And Dad said, "I don't believe in blackballing guys." He had heard what happened to Roddy. He said, "Hey, Roddy, why don't you come in to Dallas? I know we can make a lot of money here. Dad promised, he goes, I can get you $1,500 a week, And Dad said he was lowballing it because he didn't want to promise Roddy too much. And he wasn't able to deliver on it. But then Ricky Flair got a hold of Roddy, said, "Why don't you come to Japan with me?" So Roddy told Dad, "Thanks, Gary, I appreciate it, but I'm going to take off. I'm going to go with Flair to Japan." Because Roddy had a lot of heat. He was blacklisted right after that. This was in '82. And then they had to bring him back because when you draw money, you can do stuff like that. But yeah, there was talk of bringing Roddy in, and he was going to come in after everybody else blacklisted. This is one of the few places he could go.
So here's a question for anybody that's still watching.
And that would have been great. Yes.
Not because of your answer. I'm saying because I don't know if anybody's. So, anyways, I wonder what y'all think about instead of the Freebirds, feuding with the Von Erichs, if it would have been Roddy Piper and Orton, but who would have been the third guy? Slater. Okay, that'd have been interesting because Piper had
and Roddy could have got his driver's license suspended in Texas too. He's like, it was in North Carolina.
Yeah. So, good question. Thank you. Okay. Tony Pastor says, please ask them what they thought about the airplane crash with Buddy Colt. So I think we've talked about this a little bit, but thoughts on the airplane crash. Man, I know it affected Dad for the rest of his life. I remember certain days in particular, like
the night of.
The day of, like Dad would be in a bad mood, and this was like 20 years later.
Yeah.
I remember being like 15 years old.
This is like 94, 95.
Yeah,
but it never scared him to fly, though.
It never scared him to fly, but yeah, Dad.
But it wasn't something it wasn't like something you were leery to bring up around him.
Right.
If you said, "Gary, tell me about that plane crash," be like, "Oh well, here's what happened."
Right. I think it would. Yeah, but
it wasn't something like he didn't talk about it that much, but in some ways he did wear it as a badge of honor because you can tell in some of the pictures that were taken of him and Uncle Austin Otto, my godfather, Mom and Aunt Brenda. Dad's kind of got that gangster look about it. It's like, I walked away from this.
Right.
But it bothered him with Bobby. But once the medical examiners told him that, it's still. Sometimes he would play it back in his mind, and then say it could have been different, and then he'd play it back. Sometimes it would get in there a little bit longer, but it would always go away. But it was always there to some extent. But as far as something that was traumatizing to him, no. But
how was it not traumatizing?
Because he would talk about it.
I know. Okay.
And he wasn't like, "Oh, don't bring that up." It's like, if you want to ask a question, it's like it was a.
I think it also depended on his. Yeah, I think it depended on his mood too.
Yeah.
And who was asking him.
Yeah.
But
he always looked at because he thought he was dead when he came to the top of the water.
So yeah. I mean, yeah.
But it wasn't something that you couldn't. It wasn't like, "Oh, don't ask Gary about that."
So he's saying to ask us what we thought about it. It was before we were born.
Yeah.
I just remember hearing all the stories and Dad, showing us the scar in his nose where his nose got cut off.
I always thought that was because when I was a little kid, I jumped on him. I was about 2, and then the phone, because the younger kids won't know about this. They had like this tan base to it and had a receiver. And it had metal at the bottom. It fell off and hit him right in the nose. And
what did the phone?
Yeah.
Oh.
And I was like, "What did that?" I thought that was,
Yeah.
He goes, "No." I said, Did I do that? He goes, no, that's from the plane crash, my boy.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So
But in
yeah,
later years, I mean, it probably affected him, started to affect him really bad physically towards, I mean, because he was limited in what he could do with the ring. But the older he got, the more it's like, okay, this was, because he had like a scar on his leg where the bone had popped through. And I mean, he probably, because of that, probably needed, because they wanted to do back surgery, almost immediately. He said, no, And I said, why not? He goes, because once they cut you, if they don't get it right the
yeah,
first time, then you got a problem. But I mean, he probably needed a hip replacement because of it, probably knee replacement. His wrist, I mean, compound fracture in his arm, his leg, disc in his back, collarbone, clavicle. He was laced open here. You could see the skull. I mean, he lost sight in that eye eventually. I think, and by the time he was like 54, 55 by the time he lost that.
yes. Good question,
Because I
Tony.
remember when he went to take me to go get my tickets to see Kiss, which was the first time I saw him was 30 years ago today. Remember when you wanted to leave? We were driving to the place to go get my tickets, and he was like, "I'm blind in this eye now." Wow.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah.
And,
Okay.
and those two Kiss shows I saw in '96 still remain the greatest two shows I've ever seen.
Donnell
As much as I
Holmes.
love Motley Crue, they couldn't follow it.
Donnell Holmes. I guess this is what. So he asked a question. I loved Playboy Gary Hart as a kid. Lived in Eastern North Carolina, but saw Florida wrestling. It
Thank
was
you.
shown on a local channel. I still remember Dusty's babyface turn.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy living in North Carolina during the years when your dad was there?
Yes.
I enjoy your dad. I enjoy your show. Your dad would be proud.
Thank you.
Donnell, yeah, I love North Carolina.
Yes.
Love growing up. Yeah,
Charlotte's my I call that that's my home, that's our home away from home, North Carolina is.
yeah. So we lived there in like 1983 and 1984 when Dad was there with Kabuki. Yeah, I loved North. Great memories. And we moved back there in like 1988 just for a little bit when
Yes.
Dad went back with Al Perez.
That's
And yeah,
where I first started going to school. We first started
the
learning.
end
Yeah,
school.
yeah. We learned how to swim in Myrtle Beach. Not I know South Carolina, but mountains in like an hour and a half, beach in like 2 hours. Yeah, that's yeah, special time. I love
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Yeah. Danny Jordan. Have you ever thought about a second edition of your dad's book? Just found your show, loving it.
See, I feel bad whenever we get asked this question because it's like potentially it never changes.
Yeah. Yeah. So
When you're self-publishing, it's very expensive to do and very difficult to do because you can't just order.
and what we don't own, we're not in charge of it.
That's dad. That was Dad and Phil's deal.
Phil Varelli.
Yes.
Yeah. So
Well, I know he's watching somewhere.
yeah.
Definitely.
Thank you, Danny.
The city.
McCorder 141. Let's see. Was your dad able to save his money and have a good retirement? Dad's advice to all the kids was to pay the IRS.
Because
But
guys,
dad was fine. Dad was fine.
He
I
was
mean,
fine.
they didn't make millions back then, obviously, but
spend a lot too.
yeah.
I mean, Dad's advice normally to the younger guys is, Mr. Hart, well, what's your advice? Dad would say, save your money and stay straight with the IRS. Then he'd look at me and say, what do you think I was going to tell you about a move or something or an outfit? Please.
But yeah,
that comes from you.
Dad was fine.
It's fine.
And yeah, definitely, made because he had money coming in from the Metroplex Arena, and then so yeah.
And later years, Social Security.
Rick Knight. Here's a new one. How important was Gordon Soley to the growth of Florida and Georgia? As a kid, I literally started watching it because he came across so legit and gave credibility to the product. Yeah. We were just talking last night. Bill Mercer here in Texas.
Yes.
He really liked Dad. He was a big fan of Dad, and it came across.
And then announcer has to like you too
in his commentary. So Bill was. Gordon Soley definitely a good commentator.
And he was a legitimate media personality in Tampa,
right?
As Bill Mercer was here, because Bill did play-by-play for the Cowboys. He did play-by-play for the White Sox. So he was a credible media person, as was Bob Cottle in North Carolina. And Gordon also hosted a talk show in Tampa. He was a legitimate sports announcer. And if Gordon, I mean, different from Jim Ross, where Jim was a little bit more of the hard sell. I love Jim too. But Gordon, if an announcer likes you, He can make you.
Well,
and Gordon was tremendously important. They don't call him the dean of wrestling broadcasters for nothing.
Yeah, I remember a long time ago, me and Dal were watching Monday Night Raw when Vince McMahon was still doing the commentary. And I don't know how it came up, but Dad asked me something. He's like, "Do you know why?" Or I don't remember. It said something. He was like something about why Vince was doing the commentary.
Yeah, you know why?
Yeah, I go, yeah, because he can get over what he wants to get over. He can push what he wants
to
push. Yeah, and Dad was like, "Yeah, exactly." So, yeah, Gordon. So Gordon Soley, yeah, you need a guy that
he was credible.
Yeah,
he knew what he was talking about. He knew the moves. He wasn't just making it up on the fly.
And not just that, but knowing how to push and not over push.
Like when he would talk about Kabuki, saying, "Oh, the scars that this young man has from that horrific accident that took place in that match where his face was put on the shiny coals." And Gary Hart, the Playboy from Chicago, a tremendously intelligent man, and he was.
But like he said,
he wasn't biased either.
Yeah, he said he came across legit.
Yes, he was.
Legit. Yeah, it was like that's kind of what missing. I'd like an old man calling wrestling nowadays. That would kind of give it more credibility. I don't know how old Gordon was back then, but so
no, a great announcer like Gordon was, or Bill Mercer, Jim Ross, very, very important, particularly if they like you, because if they don't like you, they can make you look really bad.
Yeah. So no one else plays along. I don't think anybody likes my idea. But if you know the wrestling theme song, please guess it. I like playing this game. No one else does, apparently. Oh, man, finally I found a better... Let's see.
No one will guess this one either.
Is the audio better here when I have it straight on? Is it better at the left?
To the right?
So if you can guess this... And please keep sending your questions. Thanks, GHFC Nation.